Greetings, all you heroes, villains, and vigilantes. Duuz-Diz-Din, back with another My Hero Academia chapter review. This time I'm focusing on chapter 207, titled The Early Bird Gets the Worm. We're introduced to this team for Class 1B, consisting of Kajiro Bando, who has a glue-like power, Yotsu Yatsui Awase, who has the welding ability, Tokigari Kamakuri, who has the ability called Blades, and Setsuna Tokage, who has some kind of ability to kind of like a snake skin or something like that. I'm not really completely sure, or was it amputation, I believe. Regardless, everyone is ready to throw down with Class 1A. Knowing that Jiro and Sero will probably be their biggest problems, considering that Sero's great at capturing and Jiro's great at monitoring, so it would help the other team get in close. Not to mention Sato and Bakugo, who are great at mid-range attacks. So everyone really, it's a fully well-rounded team. So Class 1B is just like, we have to strike as soon as possible, go in, take everyone down quickly. So it's good to see that Class 1B, just kind of focuses pretty hard on what they need to do, with the only wild card being Kamakuri, who's just like, let's go in and shred them. Very much the Bakugo persona that of Class 1B. He's just willing to just go in and just devastate him right off the bat. And we even have Vlad King continuing to say, it's just like, right now where we stand is one tie, one win, one loss, with the only win that Class 1A having gotten simply because of Shinso. So it's just like, is Class 1A truly comparable to Class 1B? Are they truly equal when their only real victory came because of an outside force? And naturally the students are a little, put off by this comment, but even Aizawa is just like, maybe he's possibly right. Think about it. If you were out there failing in the real world, would you really have the room to just be like, hey, don't scrutinize us just because we lost. It's not fair. We live in a world where there's the unknown potentials and unforeseen variables. Class 1B strategy is just their biggest selling point, and his teaching skills, Vlad King's teaching skills, might just very well be a cut above my own. Just because you've had real world experience doesn't mean you can cat out the people who have actually learned the courses that Yuhei has been trying to teach, and learn them well on top of that, as seen because they can go toe to toe with you and still hold their own. And even All Might has to comment on the fact that Class 1B has just been training day after day just to increase their powers and do it in a way that logically makes sense. But he goes on to say that Class 1A can do a lot more than they're showing here. They have a good hidden potential within them to go beyond. And we see how the setup goes with Bakugo just yelling at his team. It's just like, hurry up, follow me, blah, 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 blah. And he's just barking orders, which immediately puts off everyone. It's just like, yeah, he's being cooperative, but, even Sero during their initial discussions, just like, they have a lot of high-level counterattackers on their team. So it would be a good idea to be cautious about how we go about this. But Bakugo's like, no, we have to take the initiative, go in. If we sit around waiting for an opportunity, they'll have a better chance of ambushing us. So it's just like, You have a team that's just very well put together. They understand what they need to do in Class 1B, but then you have Class 1A where it's just like, is this a good plan? Maybe we should strategize this a bit more. Not so much go on impulses and reactionary tactics. And he even starts barking out. It's just like, ears, listen out, see what's going on around us, which shows just how much disrespect Bakugo really has with his classmates. She's just like, I have an actual name, and so she, starts listening out for the air around them, only to notice that they've been set up and are completely surrounded by unknown elements, only for us to find that this is the ability of Setsuna Tokage, and her ability is basically called self-amputation, one in which she's able to send out, and was really creepy the first time I saw this, because I'm just like, ew. And it's very similar to Buggy's Chop Chop Fruit from One Piece, where she's able to just send out pieces of her body, in order to strike at the enemy and do surveillance and observations and sneak attacks. So it's a very interesting quirk. And because she's trained with it, she can send up to 50 pieces of herself. So a very interesting ability, if not just a little kind of like, ugh. That's a bit off-putting. But it's very good for, a fire divide and conquer ability. But it kind of makes you wonder, it's just like, what parts of her is she attacking you with? Just like, I can see a lot of Rule 34 coming out of this. That's all I'm saying. I'm sorry, but I can. And they don't have a lot of power, but they, can really take you off guard. So the rest of Class 1A, while Bakugo's getting attacked, Sarah tries to encase them in a, tape barrier in order to guard themselves. However, in comes, Kojiro Bando with his Semidine quirk, which is like spraying out this massive adhesive, and he's able to adjust how quickly the sticky potency can actually be set up. So not only are they encased within Sero's tape, but also Bando's kind of glue-like substance. Dude shoots his goo. I'm sorry. This is getting a little provocative. I'm sorry. So they're pretty much trapped. And then, of all things, here comes Togero Kamakuri with his quirk Sharp Edge, which is basically to send out blades. So we basically have Buggy, Mr. 3, who has the, a Wax fruit in One Piece, and Mr. 1, Das Bones, who has the Dice fruit ability where he can send out blades from all over his body. So it's just like a lot of One Piece similar quirks in here. And so Kamakuri comes in and starts slicing the pipes above Class 1A in order to fully trap them. So it's just like, and not only that, possibly incapacitate them because of all the heavy, piping coming down, in comes Sato to try to grab it mid-air, but Bakugo, even while he's getting pummeled, sends out his AP shot and, blasts away the debris. But because of that, Class 1A loses the shelter that they've set up, allowing for them to go in. And, Setsuna, obviously being the leader of this team, is just like, go after Jiro first. She's the biggest problematic element here. So Kamakuri comes in, ready to strike down Jiro and capture her, only for her to be saved by Bakugo, where, both Deku and All Might note that, Bakugo has, learned, he's grown, where he's going in and trying to save, the thing about heroes is you go in to save as many people as possible. So he comes in, using his abilities to rocket in and blast away Kamakuri, ending our chapter. But that's not all. We have the bonus chapter we see into the lives of the Bakugo family, where you see Mitsuki and her, very intense personality, and how it constantly clashes with Katsuki's, and they're always yelling and shouting at each other. With the father, Matsuri just never really being able to, step in and deal with the two of them, where, arguments between them and their, very destructive quirks sometimes bringing down the house, where it gets to the point where Katsuki even asks, it's just like, why did you even marry mom? You guys are so different. Where we basically come to find out Bakugo's dad only married her mom just because she was always coming on too strong, to the point where he just had no reason to say no, which is a very interesting way of looking at their relationship. But, you get to see a little bit more of the progression that is Bakugo, and how he, does things, where he's gone from destroy everything, but to destroy everything and save someone while you're at it. So it shows the growth and development that he has going on here. Yeah, and it kind of makes you wonder if Iwase's goal is to become Pirate King somewhere down the line because of all the One Piece similar abilities. But, this chapter really did show the divide between Class 1A and Class 1B. With 1A being constantly adept at using their quirks because of several attacks, and, they had to adapt, become quicker and more skilled on the fly. Each member of Class 1A becoming very adept in, very fly by your pants situation, and they've become adept at, just being able to just work on the fly with several people. However, because of that, they lose a lot of strategy in it with their just winged approach. They don't really, some of them don't really know how to properly play off of each other. They don't know how to really work as a team because, the way this was done, it just like we were constantly shown from jump that Class 1A doesn't know really how to work with each other too much. And while some of them do understand that fully, the strengths and weaknesses of their peers, a lot of that can be not because they wanted to, but because that's just how it ended up. Their biggest strength is the fact that they do know how to work in high stress situations. It's just that that doesn't always work 100% of the time. Meanwhile, Class 1B, has had more time to develop their skills, and it, come up with plans, aside from Tetsu, who just, is basically doing whatever he wants. But even then, enough of the classmates know how to work as a cohesive team that they still were able to make up for that. With the only loser so far being the first round. The first round, where you had, too many leaders on a team, where the Beast Dude and the Vine Hair Girl, were both basically trying to lead their team. And, that was the big point out flaw of that Vlad King pointed out. But they're able to create plans, execute the plan. So efficient teamwork, group think method going in order to try to save each other. Coming up with good countermeasures and tactics to handle their opponents. And with communication breakdown being the only real weakness in Class 1B, because their teamwork is just so strong. And that's the brilliant part of everything. That showing off that, being able to be a good team and execute a great plan really turns the tides of things. Understanding your opponent, knowing what your opponents can do. Information is everything. And the biggest advantage that Class 1B really has is the fact that Class 1A doesn't understand them enough. They don't know what they're doing, and, they don't know what angles they could come at them. And, with Bakugo's only real standout thing is that he's trying to be a nicer person. Which is just like, Yeah, that's great, but honestly, it's just like cooperating and working well with your team is also a good thing to have going for you. So we'll have to see how this plays out, because I've been surprised time and time again at how this whole story has unfolded. So maybe Bakugo's team will lose and Bakugo will walk away once again with a important, life lesson from all of this in order how to properly work with other people. It's just like, it's great that you're going in trying to save as many people as possible, but working well with your teammates is also a crucial thing. So I think I want Bakugo to lose, if only just so he learns another lesson. Well, it's unfortunate that, Sato, Jiro, and Sarah will end up losing in the process as well. But, it's just nice to see Class 1B actually being able to hold their own. But hey, tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. Who do you think will come out on top in the end? What do you think about the various quirks we've finally been shown from the various members of Class 1B, with us only really knowing Awase's ability because of the training camp arc where they got ambushed by villains, and he played the hero by going in and welding that tracker onto the back of the Nomu. And it does make me wonder how Iwase is going to come into play, because Setsuno has dished out all these strategic elements and plans with Bondo going in, sealing them in, with the biggest danger coming from Kamakuri, who just will attack them should they become exposed. So there's a lot of good planning going on here. But, the fact that, one element is not in play shows that there might be a backup plan. So, will Class 1A's fly by the scene of your plans be able to outdo Class 1B's great amount of strategic thinking? But again, tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. If you liked what I had to say here, feel free to leave me a like. If you didn't like what I had to say here, I think I rambled a bit too much, feel free to leave me a dislike and even tell me what I'm doing wrong in the comment sections. Feel free, that helps me out immensely. And subscribe for more chapter reviews of My Hero Academia. Thank you so much for joining me.